if you go on Amazon, you're going to find a huge universe of books. And there's so many different trading books, it can be very overwhelming on where to start from. So over the years, I have read hundreds of trading books. And I've realized that most of these trading books fall into three different categories. So the first are commercial books. These are books that are written to make money. When you come across a book like this, you want to ask yourself, okay, what is the trading experience of the author? Does the author even have any trading experience? Are they successful traders? Do they make money off of trading, or do they make money off of selling their books to you? And sadly, a lot of the books out there today are just commercial books and people trying to sell you their books as a way for them to make money. This is something you want to stay away from, and it can be really hard to say if you're a new trader, because you don't know if that book is written by someone who's successful or not, but you would have to do a lot of research into who the trader is and how much money he actually makes before you invest your time and money into learning from that person. And don't go based off of just the number of reviews on Amazon, because it can be very misleading, just like the number of Twitter followers. Like, I know if you look for trading books, this is one of the number one books that Amazon would recommend, and it has tens of thousands of reviews, but that does not necessarily mean it's the best one for you or me. Okay, the other category of books, which is very popular, is the old books or legacy books. And I'm sure you've heard of these, or someone has recommended these to you. The Nicholas Davis book, or the Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, the book, or the William O'Neill, How to Make Money in Stocks. He's the guy who came up with the CAN-SLIM method. And I'm not saying you don't need to read these books or there's no value in them. You can find value in the books. But the thing that most people miss out on is context. You need to ask yourself, what market conditions did these guys make money in? These are guys who traded a market decades ago and made their money decades ago. Ask yourself, has the market changed since then? At that point, markets ran purely on fundamentals. Today, markets run based on story stocks. You have SPACs, which are essentially piles of cash that sometimes go crazy. You have crypto stocks, which don't really make any money, which I don't even understand. But I just closed a trade in Mara for 40% profit. You don't need to understand the fundamentals behind them. You have options today which have overtaken the equities market in such a big way. You have no commission free trading, which basically gives access to any single person in the US to trade for free without any minimums. You have meme stocks like AMC and BBY and GME, which you didn't have back then, and stocks now go viral on the internet, and that causes them to move. More importantly, you have high frequency trading. It's these computer programs and this fractional share trading and buying and selling within seconds did not exist a few years ago. So ask yourself if all of these have made the market change in any way. And if the market structure itself has changed, then can you use these rules and methods that the people used decades ago to trade a different market and apply it exactly in today's market? You'd probably still find value in reading these, but you need to apply that context and not just try to replicate whatever is said in that book in today's market word for word, because that's not going to work. Okay, the third category of books is these books called trading psychology books. And these are a new popular category that can be very confusing. First thing you need to ask yourself, are these people psychologists or are they traders, right? Who has written this book? Because a psychologist is going to have a very different perspective from a trader who actually practices trading every day. It's the difference between theory and practice, right? Trading is something that we do, like a sport, like swimming or riding a bike. And someone who actually does it every day will have a very different perspective than someone who's just reading about it or thinking about it. So anytime you encounter a trading psychology book, please research who the person is, what their background is, and if this is something that will actually add any value to you. So having said that, what are the 5 best books that I would recommend for any beginning trader? And I also want you to keep in mind these are the only 5 books that I refer to again and again. Everything else that I bought, I have read and tossed out. And if you are someone who likes reading a lot, these are the only 5 books that you would need to read. Okay, so the first one is definitely Think and Trade Like a Champion by Minervini. So if there's only one book that you have the patience to read or the time to read, then this is it. And it has everything from risk management to mindset to entries, exits. It covers the whole gamut. Though it is pretty dense and it's going to take you more than a couple of reads to understand and implement everything. But I would recommend that you rather read this book 100 times than read 100 other books. You're going to get more out of this than you're going to get from all the other books combined. The second one is Momentum Masters, and this one is also featuring Minervini, though it builds on his work and also interviews David Ryan, Dan Zanger, and Mark Ritchie. These are 3 other traders who are within Minervini's universe and trade a very similar style. But this is the only book that you get to hear where you get to read about these 3 traders. And they're all 3 very good in their own respects. Especially Mark Ritchie, who, from what I hear in his interviews, comes across as a very genuine, humble, spiritual, and sincere guy. And I really liked getting his perspective in this book. The best thing, though, is the format. The book will ask a simple question like, what are your stop loss rules? And then go around the table and ask each of these 4 traders, and they will all give their answers sequentially, and you get to read all of them together. And this gives you a very nice overview of the different options that you have as a momentum trader, and 4 different perspectives, essentially, to the same question. So this is super valuable and very underrated, in my opinion. The third one is a relatively new book that came out last year, I think. It's called Victory in Stock Trading, and you have to buy this on Apple. I don't think it's on Amazon yet. It's by Oliver Kell, who is also a US investing champion. And his explanation of the price cycle is the best that I have seen of any book. It gives you a lot of add-on buy points as well. So if you're more of an advanced trader and you want to add to your skill set, this can give you a lot of ideas. Most importantly, what he helped me do was get out of the day trading mindset and look at the bigger picture and think of trades in terms of swings or position trades, by his focus on the weekly chart. So I highly recommend it for that. He also has a masterclass, I think, where he that he sells online, but it's quite a hefty price tag, so I can't recommend that. But it was useful for me because he walks through a lot more examples of what he teaches than the book goes through. Lastly, these are 2 books that are super underrated and no one talks about. And these are the 2 candlestick books. Now, candlesticks are the language of price. Just as you have letters and numbers, you have candlesticks, and stock charts use that as their main language. And it is baffling to me how many people look at candlestick charts all day, but don't even know how to interpret it correctly. So reading these 2 books is like learning the ABCs or your alphabets before writing a sentence. it is such a good investment of your time, because once you know how to correctly interpret these candlestick charts, you're going to carry this skill with you for the rest of your life. And you will never look at a candlestick chart the same way again. I can assure you that. They will give you the best and strongest foundation, in my opinion. So I don't think anyone else talks about this, except I heard Oliver Kellen in his masterclass mention it and highly recommend it. And I was super impressed that he did that. The first book, which is this Candlestick course, this one also has exercises at the end of each chapter. And those give you a way to check your understanding as you go along. So they're very well written and well designed books. So these are the 5 books that I recommend buying and starting with, and probably also ending your trading library with, because I've thrown out everything else at this point. Overall, these, I think each of them would cost like 20, 30 bucks. And so overall, you're looking to spend about $100. And if you buy used versions of books like I do, then it's going to cost even less, half the price. So if there's anything that I'm missing or new books that have come out that are really, really good on par with these 5, then definitely let me know in the comments below. And if you disagree with me on any of these 5 books or don't like them for some reason, also let me know, because I love hearing a contrarian opinion. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. So I would appreciate that. And hopefully this video gave you a good roadmap of how you can get started with trading if you're a new trader, and the best free resources and the top 5 books. So thank you so much. Hope you found it helpful.